Hey everyone, thanks for checking in. In today's book review series, we're going to be talking about reviewing Dr. James Maas' Sleep to Win. And this is an absolutely excellent book. I read it in about a day. It's a very fun and easy format. It's a kind of a parable form in where he gives you a lot of this awesome information about sleep, but he tells it in a very engaging, fun, and kind of exciting way. And so Dr. James Maas, we've actually had the privilege to attend many of his talks at the Canadian Rheumatology Association. He was one of the keynote speakers, so I got to attend 3 of his sessions, which were absolutely amazing. And he's just as engaging and charismatic as he is in his writing. And it's really fun because he's a professor at Cornell University, and they have an excellent hockey program. So the story of in Sleep to Win is one of his old students who currently plays in the NHL is kind of suffering. He's not performing up to his potential, and he goes home for Christmas. And his younger sister is like, "Brother, why are you so grouchy?" So you really need to get your sleep in order. So and he mentions to him, "Oh, didn't you have some sleep expert in your unit at Cornell?" And he's like, "Oh." So he emails him up, and there's this correspondence back and forth, and it's very interesting. He takes you through all the different things with sleep hygiene, what to plan sleep, how to deal with travel, because he's a professional athlete, so he's crossing different time zones, and the story ends with his team went in the NHL championship, and I'll save the ending for you. It's quite a nice little twist. But I'm not going to discuss all the points about the sleep hygiene because obviously then why wouldn't you buy the book? If I could tell you in 10 minutes, there'd be no point buying the book. However, definitely make sure to check out my Supercharger Sleep series because I do go over many of things that are discussed in this book that I personally have drastically helped me with my sleep. And the reason I'm so fascinated about sleep is because especially during high school and even more so during my undergrad at Boston University, I hugely struggled with insomnia, especially before exams. I would literally be up the whole night. I remember before my organic chemistry exams, I'm up the whole night, and I have pictures of carboxylic acid, ketones, aldehydes going over and over my brain, and that's not a very conducive or enjoyable night before a big exam at 8 a.m. in the morning. But the main real takeaway, and it seems so simple, but it's the importance of prioritizing our sleep. And it's very interesting because a lot of athletes are very high achievers, so it's not only we're trying to do the best we can on the athletic in our athletic endeavors, but also in the classroom. And that tends to cause us to almost burn that midnight oil to try to get everything done. And it's kind of this downward cycle he talks about because the less you sleep, the less efficient, the less productive you become with everything. So it seems that there's no way you can possibly prioritize sleep. But he really emphasizes once you prioritize sleep, everything else becomes a lot easier and you realize you do have time to sleep. And it's not that you have to find the time to sleep, it's that you can't afford not to sleep. The analogy I like to use is if you're driving around your car and you're like, "Oh, I'm way too busy, I can't go to the gas station." Sooner or later it's going to catch up to you. Or it's like if you're a businessman, an entrepreneur, and you're busy about doing your business, and you say, "Oh, I can't go to the bank." Well, it's going to catch up to you sooner or later. You have to go to the bank. It's one of those necessary investments you have to make in yourself or in your business if you're the businessman, or gasoline if you're in your car. If you're a super badass, go to your electrical charging station. So it's really about prioritizing sleep. And the number one thing, and this is what Dr. James Maas went over again and again in his talks, if you talk to any other sleep experts who would say, the number one takeaway is having a consistent wake and sleep schedule. Obviously, if you're a professional athlete or you're a businessman and traveling all the time, you may not be able to do that. And he talks about specific practices and techniques and ways you can modify your daily routine to make sure you offset that. But if you're a normal Joe like you and me, or you're a student, you can typically tend to have a reasonably set fixed schedule. So sometimes you be Spartan about it and you're always waking up at 6 a.m. because I typically try to wake up at 6 a.m. but there's times where I sleep in. But the goal is try to avoid harsh changes. And I think I mentioned this in one of my previous Supercharger Sleep, specifically why exercise in the morning can be so beneficial not only for your health, but specifically in improving the amount of deep wave sleep you have. And that's because our body has our own internal clock. And that's so important because that's a big master control of a lot of big hormone release, such as the cortisol surge in the morning, the melatonin peak at night, and those goods. And when we're in tune with that, we tend to feel very good. However, if we're totally out of tune with it, we feel terrible. It's why I have a friend who works night shifts a lot, and he's doing graveyard shifts and day shifts and afternoon shifts, and the graveyard shifts are terrible. Even if he's sleeping a good 8 hours, he doesn't feel rested because even though he's tired and he's sleeping in the day, his body's taking cortisol, and this cortisol is surging through his body. And he's like, it's time to be up, but he's exhausted because of the sleep that he falls asleep, but it's not a restorative sleep. So the number one takeaway from this excellent book is really make sure to prioritize your sleep. It's something we always tend to kind of push off, especially in our Western society. It's always about more, 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 doing more, not about the restorative and that balance. And that's a big thing I talk about if you see my medical school vlogs videos. It's understanding that balance and flow of things. We can't just always push, 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 because sooner or later it will catch up to ourselves. And when we do really focus on our sleep, make sure that we have a consistent sleep schedule. So you can't be sleeping 5 hours a day every day during the week, and then it's like, I'm going to sleep 13, 14 hours on the weekend to catch up for it. If you're young, you can get away with it, but sooner or later it will catch up to you. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. And definitely make sure to subscribe to get an awesome video about how you can be the best you can be and improve your sleep. And definitely make sure to check my Supercharge Your Sleep series. Thank you.